So I've been battling a cold recently, so let's make some French onion soup. It's one of my favorite soups. It's super simple, so let's get to it. Okay, the star of the show, the onion. So I don't know why, but I went to Publix the other day and all they had were the smallest little onions that I could find, but I just had to work with what I could get. So I just bought a bunch of little onions. I actually don't cry when I cut onions. I think it's because I wear contacts, because when I don't wear contacts, I'm a watery mess. So basically you want to cut these into like little half moons and then cut them into slices. Okay, so I just finished cutting up all the onions and I'm about to put in half a stick of butter. So once the butter is melted, I'm gonna add in the onions. You wanna make sure you evenly coat the butter on all the onions. And now starts the waiting game. While we're waiting for the onions to cook, I'm gonna be stirring them intermittently, and then I'm gonna start to shred the Gruyere cheese. I can never pronounce that word. So I like to use the bigger side of the grater, and I just start shredding it. It's getting everywhere. It's falling apart too. All right, so this is the amount of cheese that I want to put as that like cheesy layer on the top. Onions are starting to look good. I'm gonna start to add a little bit of salt, pepper. So with this, oh my God, it's so steamy. With this, you wanna make sure that you're stirring constantly because you don't want the bottom to burn. You can see how much the onions have shrunk, but we are nowhere near done yet. They are still not even brown yet. I like to toast my baguette before I put it on top of my soup. So I'm gonna start to get that ready while the onions are still cooking. So I usually like to do like, I don't know, 3 slices. So I usually use a day old baguette. I feel like the drier it is, the better. And I'm gonna pop them into my toaster oven. Okay, we are starting to get there with the color now. This is taking quite a long time, but it's a labor of love. So I think that ideal color now is just about achieved. You can see that there's a lot of like crusties now on the bottom. So I bought like a cheap dry white wine from Publix. And now we just want to deglaze the bottom of the pan. So you just want to add some white wine. I don't really measure when I cook. I just measure with the heart. Now I'm adding my beef broth. I just add like a full like bushel of thyme. Add some flavor. And you're just gonna stir that around, let the flavors get in. Okay, now it's time to assemble my beautiful French onion soup bowl. So I'm gonna take my broth that I so patiently, painstakingly took to make today. And I'm just gonna put that in my oven safe bowl. You wanna make sure it's an oven safe bowl or else it will explode in the oven and that's never good. I'm not gonna use my oven today because I'm just making soup for one, so I'm gonna use my little handy dandy toaster oven today. But you just wanna make sure that you like put enough broth in. I know a lot of people like they get French onion soup at restaurants and the like cheese is like spilling over the top, and I personally don't wanna deal with that dish disaster today, so I won't be having my cheese spilling over the rim of my bowl. Anyways, so then I'd be putting my little toasties on the top, and then I'll be putting my cheese, kind of like clumping it on the bread on top. Voila, now my French onion soup is done and I'm gonna go put it in the toaster oven. So I think my French onion soup is ready. It is bubbling. Okay, let's do a taste test. Oh my God, it's really hot, but it's so good.